Rangiroa, the big sky. When nature created Rangiroa, nature had a very good day. It's the second largest atoll in the world. Rangiroa's lagoon looks like a giant swimming pool, surrounded by hundreds of small islands. About 3,000 people live on Rangiroa's main island. Very relaxed people who live on tourism and fishing. This main island is roughly about 6 miles long, and just 1,500 feet lay between the quiet lagoon and the wide Pacific Ocean. The world-famous Tiputa Pass. A channel with very strong currents that change every 6 hours. These currents attract lots of big animals, which makes Rangiroa a place that attracts divers from all over the world. But the journey to this underwater paradise is very, very long. This is Rangiroa's true emperor. If you are in trouble with jet lag, you will have to get used to the local roosters, if possible at all. The only big road of Rangiroa. Unsurprisingly, you don't have too many problems with traffic jams. Every dive center on Rangiroa offers a pickup service. You dive 2 times per day, always depending on the tides. This morning, dive guide Jan will bring us to Tiputa Pass for the very first time. The famous grey reef sharks of Rangiroa. There must be hundreds of grey reef sharks living in this passage, even if you see only dozens of them at the same time. Then the current is getting stronger and stronger. Jan, Fabrice and me are flying through the passage. Roughly 10 minutes later, we are arriving in the lagoon. This place, called the aquarium, is used for the first check dive. But even here, it is possible to encounter spectacular marine life. February, summertime in the southern Pacific Ocean. It's raining every day now, but just for a couple of minutes.
I'm kind of looking for see all the wildlife in his element, not on TV. I'm used to watch the show on TV on animals, and this time I can touch them, I can see them, I can live and swim with them. So Polynesia is the best for that, I think, because it's always sunny, it's very hot. Even if it's raining, it's kind of nice. For me, this is a paradise. To be alone on this beach with nobody else except you and me for now.
Eolienne. This dive site is located east of Tiputa Pass. A steep wall of hard corals is sloping into the abyss. Eolienne is a very good spot for meeting dolphins. These dolphins come very close to the divers, and they also like to play with them. Huge schools of barracudas are also very likely. You can be sure to encounter turtles on every dive, and some of them will even be fed by the dive guides. When approaching Tiputa Pass, it's really worthwhile descending down to 120 feet. This side is called the Angle. Definitely one of Rangiroa's most fishy places. A very illustrious hunting party. The white-tip reef sharks are joined by huge jackfish and Napoleon wrasse.
My name is Alain. I used to live in France. I used to be horse riding instructor and show jumping competitor. I went here the first time in 1993 and I fell in love with the atoll of Rangiroa. So we decided, Muriel, my wife, and myself, to come back here 2 years ago. And we bought a piece of land, built the house, the guest house, where now we are able to accept to offer 4 rooms to guests from all around the world. And I think it's very nice because these people can give us a lot of things, and I hope we do the same with them. What I like in Rangiroa overall is the peaceful, the quietness of the atoll. And sure, also the weather, the beautiful colors of the lagoon. And I like people from Rangiroa, which are not lazy, but very quiet. And they work just because they do in their work just what they like to do, and not more. And we left because the world now is business, business, business and money. And here I think it's really more natural.
Going to Avatoru. This local passage is another terrific dive site of Rangiroa. Dive guide Patrick is carrying some fish heads. The grey reef sharks are present at once, but none of the divers is waiting for them. The divers are waiting for this kind of shark. the mighty silvertip. This one has 7 feet. Very few minutes later, 4 silvertip sharks are cruising around our group. Then Patrick is releasing the bait. The lady with the underwater cam is Rachel from France.
For Rangiroa, yes, I think it's a very special place in the world because you can see some very big, and when I said big, I mean sharks. It's not a place where you can find some little nudibranch or something like this. It's not a place, but as underwater cameraman, now it's 4 years I am living here in Rangiroa, and it's very exciting. You can always be surprised, so it's really a nice thing to work here.
This giant school of big-eyed jacks is not a surprise. They show up at the pass of Avatoru on every morning. Sometimes the silvertip sharks are joining their show. The jack's reaction is fascinating. They are rubbing their bodies against the shark's rough skin. By doing this, they are getting rid of nasty parasites. And they are also defending themselves. Rangiroa's biggest treasure is located in these rather profane buildings.
The really good luster make on the surface of the pearl look like a mirror. You can see a face through the pearl.
Or the camera. The pearl farms of Polynesia not only sell pearls, they also produce them. I didn't know that there are so many colors.
Yeah. If you want, the pearls still the gray, and then after includes blue, green, golden. And year round we have about 2 million oysters in the lagoon.
2 million?
2 million oysters. From baby oysters till they are ready for first implant.
Okay.
And first implant we start at 3 years old for the animal. Just to prepare them before the operation, so it's a little piece of wood that go between the veils.
Okay.
And then after show to the technician. That's the nucleus that we use.
Okay.
And the yellow thing that you see around is only antibiotic. Otherwise the mineral structure is exactly the same like our shell. It's not plastic.
I see.
But they come from another mollusk. It's a mussel from the Mississippi River that they cut and polish it to get it perfectly roundy. And this is the support. And you can see the packet.
This is the pen. Ah, I see.
It's exactly here the technician will put it. And then they go back in the lagoon for 40 days. Because unfortunately many of them will spit out the bead. The nucleus, they will spit out. So if they do that, we can find them in the bottom here 40 days after. So they 2 holes, put it inside through the hole, and then tie them in each handle of the rope. After when we tie them on the rope, and then go back in the lagoon, we'll be for 2 years. And when we implant about 100 oysters, like this one, they only can get 50 pearls. 50. And only 10 will be round, but only 1 or 2 will be A quality. That's why they are more expensive. Okay? It's a really nice color here. I like that color, champagne.
Yeah.
The blue is perfect. Like what? You never know if the pearl will be round, oval, circle, burrow, or nothing.
Okay.
Small one, big one, we don't know. It depends of the oyster, of the weather, and everybody that work here. Nature.
Nature. Summertime in the southern Pacific. It's the season when the eagle rays are assembling in Tiputa Pass. This meeting attracts one of the ocean's biggest predator. For good reasons, the plateau down at 160 feet is called the Hammerhead Plate. the great hammerhead shark, up to 18 feet long. Especially between December and March, it's possible to meet them in Tiputa Pass. At Rangiroa, one of the most spectacular dive sites in the world.